My name is Natalie Harris. It happened about 6 months after I got married. My mom came over to our house and cried, saying, "I've been diagnosed with cirrhosis. If it stays like this, it could be life-threatening. Please give me your liver." I was shocked by the sudden request. Cirrhosis. They say I can get a live transplant. If I do that, I'll get better. So please give me your liver, she pleaded. I hesitated quite a bit. Since I was a child, my mom had always been cold to me, and I never felt loved. Compared to my friends' moms, I always wondered why she was so distant. When my dad was around, it was a bit better, but on nights when he came home late, there was never any dinner. Even if I cried because I was hungry, she wouldn't make anything. If I opened the fridge on my own, she hit me. I wanted so badly to be loved by her, so I worked hard in school. But no matter how hard I tried to get perfect scores, it was always the same. This didn't change even when I was in middle school. By the time I got to high school, she told me to get a part-time job, but all the money I made was taken by her. I kept working just to cut down on time spent with her. When she made this request, I couldn't readily agree. But when I consulted my husband, James, he said, "She's your only mom. How can you not help her? If something happens, you'll regret it." He called me heartless for hesitating and insisted that I must become her donor. In the end, I had no choice but to become the donor and unwillingly provided my mom with my liver. However, after the surgery, when my mom was discharged, the true reason why she wanted me to be the donor became clear. One day, after coming home exhausted from work, I found my mom inside our house. "Mom, how did you get in?" "I have a spare key, so of course I can get in." "You weren't supposed to have a key." "James gave it to me, sweetie." "James is my husband. Why would James?" "It doesn't matter. I'm going to live here now, so you need to leave. Thanks for taking care of James up until now." "What? What do you mean?" "I'm taking your husband, your liver, and this new house, too." "What do you mean?" "I'm going to live here with James. Just the two of us." "That's right. What about Dad?" "We're getting a divorce, and that's final." "What if James doesn't agree?" "James is already on board." "What? I don't understand." "How can you be so clueless? James and I are in a romantic relationship." "Wait, what? A romantic relationship? Mom, how old do you think you are? You're 52 and James is 32. You're 20 years apart, and you're saying it's romantic." "Yes, age doesn't matter in romance." "No, it definitely matters. You don't understand because you're a child." "Why is this happening?" "It started when you two came to introduce yourselves after getting married. I liked James right away, but I thought the age gap was too big back then and he wouldn't be interested in me. But then, while talking, James said he actually prefers older women." "That's way too old." "That's just how it is. If he likes older women, why did he marry me?" "His parents told him to get married already, so he thought anyone would do and just happened to marry you." "But you came to help us out because you knew we were both working." "That was just an excuse to see James." "I'm your real daughter. How could you?" "Oh, you're not my real daughter." "What? Not your daughter?" "That's right. You're the child of your dad's mistress. Your dad had an affair when he was young, and the woman got pregnant. I couldn't have children, so your dad brought you here without my consent. But who wants to raise the child of a mistress?" "Is that why you were so cold to me?" "Exactly. I thought I might grow to love you if I raised you, but I couldn't. What's unforgivable is unforgivable, so get a divorce." "You can't just tell me to get a divorce." "I hadn't even talked to James about it when he came home." "Perfect timing. Let's ask James," my mom said triumphantly, clinging to him as he walked in. James happily hugged her back. "What is this?" "Gross." I told her everything, but she doesn't get it. "She's not too bright," Mom said, looking at me with disdain. "Well, finding out your husband and Mom are getting married would shock anyone, right?" I retorted. "Is that so?" "Whatever. I brought the divorce papers. Divorce papers? Yeah, that's right. Here's a little thank you to my lifesaver. Sign this and get out, Mom said, handing me the divorce papers. Despite the pain I went through to donate my liver, I was just a donor to them. Why? If it was just about a liver donor, it didn't have to be me. If she's that important to you, you should have been her donor. That's impossible. I can't let my beloved James go through that pain. Besides, we need your dad to keep working to pay for the hospital bills. Considering that, you were just the right fit, James said coldly. This is the worst. I thought of you as my mom. Think what you want. That's your business. But I never thought of you as my daughter. I truly hated you as you grew older and started to look more like that other woman. It was unbearable. Now sign the papers. Hearing all that, I had no words left. I felt so much resentment, but even those words wouldn't come out. I felt so frustrated and sad. It was pathetic that I still thought of her as my mom. On top of that, the man I thought was my husband had betrayed me so thoroughly. Fine, I'll divorce you. With that, I took the alimony from the two of them and got divorced. 5 years later, living near my childhood home, I got a call from my ex-husband, James. Natalie, help me. Please help me. The moment I answered the phone, I heard his desperate cries. Well, it's been 5 years without a word. What's going on? Hillary, her condition's come back. Hillary is my mom's name. Come back. You mean her cirrhosis? Yeah, that's right. Is it alcoholic cirrhosis? Yes. That's why you have to help. Help? She was supposed to have stopped drinking. She promised she wouldn't drink after the transplant. Yeah, that's right. If she wasn't drinking, she shouldn't have alcoholic cirrhosis. Well, she got better after the surgery and wanted to drink again. She thought a little wouldn't hurt, but it kept increasing. When she felt sick again, she went to the hospital. So she started drinking again? Yeah, pretty much. You knew she'd relapse if she drank. I know, but sometimes you can't get through life without drinking. This time she's really going to stop. Ever since she found out her condition came back, she stopped drinking. But still, still what? If she was so important, she should have stopped drinking in the first place. Now she's relapsed, and there's nothing to be done. That's why we need another transplant. What? Please be her donor again. Absolutely not. Why not? You're her daughter. You should do this much. What are you talking about? I already donated once. There's no second time. You should be the donor this time. I have my job. So do I, but you're not working now, are you? Are you kidding me? I have things I need to do too. Why would I cut up my body for someone who's treated me so poorly? 5 years ago, I didn't even want to be your donor. I only did it because you and my mom begged me and called me heartless. After it was done, you asked for a divorce and took our new house. It's unbelievable. I don't consider her my mom anymore, so it's none of my business. Don't say that. The bond between parent and child can't be broken. It was never there to begin with. You know that, right? That's why you never contacted me after our divorce. Don't be so mean. Without a transplant, she'll need dialysis, and that's going to cost a lot of money. Who cares? She got cirrhosis from drinking. Isn't this what you wanted? Of course not. She's suffering every day. She brought it on herself. Don't you feel sorry for her? She's your mom. Not even a bit. She never showed me any love. She's getting older. I don't want her to suffer. If you didn't want her to suffer, you should have stopped her from drinking. Please just give her your liver one more time. It's medically impossible. That can't be true. Your liver should have regenerated by now. Even if you say that, I can't see it, so I don't know. They say the liver regenerates even after you donate, so your liver should be back to normal. They say it doesn't return to its original shape. You can't see it, so how would you know? Isn't that what I just said? Shape doesn't matter, does it? As long as it functions properly, who cares about the shape? Easy for you to say. You're young. Donating twice shouldn't be a problem. That's not true. The doctors won't approve it. You're her daughter. It's fine. We're not even blood related, but there's an emotional bond. No, there isn't. If you're so insistent, James, you should do it. Instead of talking about your work, you should donate your liver. If you're telling me to do it, it shouldn't be a big deal, right? I'd donate if I could. I'd do anything to make her feel better, but I can't take time off work. If I don't work, who will? If I end up in the hospital, who will take care of her? The hospital provides complete care. There's nothing to worry about. Besides, the donor gets discharged sooner. So you can take care of her once you're out doing that. It would wear me out. You're only 2 years older than me, if I can handle it. So can you? Don't say that I have no choice but to ask you. No matter what you say, it's impossible. It'll be fine. The doctor said you can do it. I doubt they said that. You're young and your family. It's okay to donate twice. Please, I'm begging you. No way. I don't trust that. I won't risk my life to help. You're really heartless. Say what you want. You're strangers to me, so I don't care what you say. Okay, but could you at least visit her? Huh? Why? She wants to see you. She hates me, remember? She couldn't love me because I was someone else's child. Now she wants to see me. I don't believe it. She really does care about you. She's been talking about you nonstop for the past 5 years. Do you even know what kind of childhood I had? Being thrown outside in the cold winter without my jacket, not being fed when I was hungry, getting yelled at for no reason. It was terrible. Even so, I thought of her as my mom and endured it, thinking it was my fault. But all of that wasn't my fault. It was just because I was the child of a mistress. What did I do wrong? I didn't know, but she regrets it. She says she feels bad for making you suffer and regrets it every day. She says she was too young to understand your feelings and cries about it, wishing she could do it all over again. No way. It's true. She really loves you as a mother. You can't just erase a 30-year parent-child bond overnight. She says she was harsh because she took me away, and she wanted you to hate her to make it easier on you. That's how kind she is. How can someone so kind steal her daughter's husband? That's why she wants to see you. Please understand her feelings. This sounds so fake. If she's so kind and okay with being hated, would she act like this? It's strange. Donating twice could destroy my body. How can someone who truly cares about me ask that? It's because she's not the one asking. I'm the one contacting you. But as her husband, I want to do what's best for her. Then be the donor yourself. I want to do everything I can for her, so please do everything you can for your mom. Why am I being dragged into this? I feel really sorry for taking your mom from you. I'm not asking for forgiveness, but please don't hate her. This is so unbelievable. Just visit her, please. Just come see her. If I argued more, he'd just keep pestering me. So I agreed to visit her. After a while, I reluctantly went to visit her. Indeed, my mom was weak. Her face was deeply wrinkled, and her hair was completely gray. Who would believe this woman who now looked like an old lady had a 32-year-old husband? Thank you for coming, Natalie. Since I had never been thanked by her before, I felt sick and felt it was more like a lie. You've aged quite a bit. Illness does that. I don't really want James to see me like this, but it can't be helped. Yes, that's just how it is. At your age, you're quite mean. I'm just like you, Mom. Even if I'm the child of a mistress, there are some similarities between us. Natalie, please don't say that. I consider you my real child. Is that so? I don't think the same. So your cirrhosis has come back, I hear. Yes, isn't it sad? But it's alcoholic cirrhosis, isn't it? That's your own fault. You promised not to drink after the transplant, but you did anyway. Is that why you're in a different hospital now? Not exactly, but the previous hospital wasn't quite right. This one has better doctors. I see. Anyway, I'm thinking of getting another live transplant. The doctor said it's possible, and it would make me feel much better. Hope you find a donor. The donor is right here. What? James, what are you talking about? I can't let James go through that. It's obviously you, so the whole wanting to see me was a big lie. She wouldn't say something like this if it wasn't. I raised you for 30 years. You should repay that favor. So give me your liver. Even if you say that I'm your mom, I raised you, so it's only fair. What nerve she has. When my dad was on business trips, she'd leave me alone, claiming children grow up without parents. But now when she's in trouble, she says she raised me? Her selfishness is astounding. If repaying a favor is the issue, I've already donated once, so that should cover it. Not that I received much love to repay. Hey, that's unfair to Hillary. James, it's despicable that you lied to get me to the hospital. If it's so important, you should be her donor. That would solve everything. I won't and can't be the donor again. Like I said, you're only her daughter. And what does that mean? If you insist, let's consult the doctor properly. There's no need to talk to the doctor. I already told them you're my daughter and will be the donor. They said there's no worry if my daughter is the donor. Seems like you left out important details. Just be my donor. Your parent is suffering. It's your duty. Both my mom's and James's voices grew louder, alarming the other patients in the room. Those unaware of the situation probably thought I was heartless. Regardless, I can't be your donor this time. We've severed ties, so don't contact me again. James, you're a stranger to me now. Don't rely on me. How heartless can you be? Donating once doesn't repay the debt of raising you. You ungrateful child. I decided it was useless to argue any further and left the hospital room despite their protests. From the room I could hear my mom's cries and James trying to comfort her. I'll talk to her again. Natalie will understand once she calms down. Just don't cry. With that, James ran after me. If my mom was so important, he should stay by her side until she stopped crying. Why chase after me and continue to pester her? I didn't want to talk to James, so I quickened my pace, but James caught up and grabbed my arm. Wait, I need to talk to you. Enough already. I can't do it. I get it. I understand. Then what is it? The truth is, I'm thinking of leaving Hillary. In an instant, my anger subsided, and I looked at James. He seemed serious. Why didn't you love my mom? Yeah, I did. But did you see her when we met? She was lively, fun, and beautiful. But now she's like an old woman. She's full of complaints, and her hair is all gray. Since her condition got worse, she's become a monster. What now? She feels more like a mother than a woman. I can't see her as a woman anymore, so I'm giving her back to you. How selfish can you be? But she is a monster now. So you cherish new things but treat the old ones like monsters. It's not like that. Yes, it is. Come on, if you don't become the donor, she'll have to start dialysis. That means constant hospital visits, tons of money, and she won't be able to work. Why don't you ask for a caregiver for her? Caregivers aren't free. With your income, it shouldn't be a problem. Well, I've been dependent on her for the last 5 years, and I quit my job. You quit. You said you were working. Well, yeah. No matter how you say it, you quit. Why? I wanted to become a singer. When I told Hillary, she said I was good and could make it. So I thought I wouldn't have to give up my dream. I quit my job and started singing. Wow. Did my mom ever actually listen to this guy sing? I've gone to karaoke with him a few times, and he's never been good. In fact, I wondered how someone could be that off-key. A singer, huh? Are you getting any recognition? Yeah, I have subscribers. He pulled out his phone to show me some videos, but his subscriber count was barely in double digits. Even though he had uploaded multiple videos, they were all at a level that would encourage Tony to people. How did he ever think he could become a singer? Your videos don't even have 100 views. That's because they're new. The one from a year ago also has only double digits. but there was no point in criticizing James's efforts now. "That's amazing," I said, ending the conversation. "See, it is amazing. I knew I had talent, so I'm going to focus on my singing career. I won't have time for a job or caregiving, and my fans would be heartbroken if they knew I was married to an old lady. That's why I think we should get a divorce." James said this with a pleased smile. Divorce is between the two of them, not something I can or want to comment on. I just think my mom was foolish to marry such a young man, but that doesn't mean I'll take her back. So I'm handing her back to you. Look, it's your choice to leave that awful woman, but don't rely on me. We're strangers now. She's not my mom anymore. Don't say that. If you don't take her, I can't divorce her. That's a problem. You chose to be with her, so deal with it yourself. With that, I walked away from James. Sometime later, James went back to the hospital room, wondering how to bring up the subject of divorce. But my mom took his hand and started complaining. "Why won't she be the donor? She's such an awful woman. Without a donor, I won't get better." Just then, the doctor came in. "I need to talk to you." "Oh, doctor, is this about the surgery?" "No, actually, I have a message from the donor." "A message from her?" "Yes, your daughter said, 'I've already been your donor once, so I can't do it again. If it's absolutely necessary, find someone else.'" "No way. You said she had never been a donor, but that's completely false." "I told you that liver donation can only be done once. Why did you try to make her do it again?" "She refused after understanding everything. It couldn't be helped." "It couldn't be helped? What do you mean? This is a matter of life and death. Just because someone is a donor doesn't mean it's 100% safe. That's why we only allow it once. You're being too selfish. It's not your place to be angry. She's my daughter. It's only natural for a daughter to risk her life for her parent. How selfish can you be? Your liver problem is due to alcoholism. You need to abstain for 6 months, and it's only been a few days since you were hospitalized. We don't even know if you can have a transplant in this condition. And after discharge, you must remain alcohol-free. The fact that your condition has relapsed means you broke that rule. No doctor will risk someone's life for a patient like you." "That's your opinion. My life is precious too. That's why I found a donor myself." "Then why did you break your promise to abstain from alcohol? You brought this on yourself and now expect your daughter to fix it." "I raised her. She owes me. If she's your child, why didn't you love her when she was young? Despite everything, she still became your donor, and you took her husband and her home. That's too cruel." "What? How do you know that?" "It's not your business. This is a family matter. You're just a doctor. Just do the surgery." I couldn't stay silent after hearing everything. I felt too sorry for her, but you're right. It's not my place to interfere. Exactly, mind your own business. I was asked to give you this. What now? Your husband wants a divorce. He said to give you the same present your daughter received when she got divorced. What? What do you mean? James, I'm sorry. I can't do this anymore. You've got to be kidding. I've supported you all this time, and now you want a divorce without a donor and with dialysis costs coming up. I want to focus on my singing career. What does that even mean? I can't handle hospital visits alone. I won't let you leave. I've supported you all this time. Now it's your turn to support me. With a furious expression, my mom started yelling at James. Exhausted, James clutched the divorce papers and shouted that he wanted to leave. The doctor, having had enough of their bickering, left the room and met me outside the door. With a smile, he put his arm around my shoulder and said cheerfully, "Natalie, did you get your revenge?" "Yes, thank you." Afterward, my mom, who had sworn she would never get a divorce, started yelling every day. James tried to calm her down, saying they wouldn't get a divorce, but he desperately wanted one. Exhausted, he cheated on her while she was in the hospital and brought another woman into their home. When my mom got discharged, she noticed changes in the house and found out James was cheating. She confronted the woman, insisting on breaking up because she wouldn't divorce him. James had lied to the woman, saying he lived with his mom, so she didn't know he was married. The deceived mistress demanded compensation from James. Burdened by high medical bills and alimony, James realized he had to work to survive. He took a part-time job while caring for my mom. However, that wasn't enough to make ends meet, so he borrowed money from a loan company. Once he started borrowing, he couldn't stop and kept borrowing more. The debt piled up, becoming enormous. My mom found out and asked my dad for help, but he refused, pointing out that she had taken her daughter's husband and now wanted help because she was in trouble. Then she asked me for help, but of course I didn't assist her. Eventually, my mom realized she couldn't receive welfare with James, who was of working age, living with her, so they divorced. Now she lives alone in loneliness. As for James, he gave up on his singing career, burdened by his debt, and now scrapes by with day labor jobs. Recently, he went to the hospital because he wasn't feeling well, and it turns out he has cancer. As for me, I'm happily living my life with my husband, who is a doctor. In a way, I should thank my mom because leaving that man led to my current happiness.